So Labour Party very clearly seems to be signalling some sort of a reset when it comes to India. And that's important because right now they are well ahead in the polls and you might well have Sir Keir Starmer as the next Prime Minister of Britain. I just wanted to get the reaction now of the Indian High Commissioner to the UK to what seems to be a fairly major policy speech. And it seems to be Labour in so many words saying, we're going to press the reset button when it comes to India.
Well, Sir Keir has already made this point privately to us in my first meeting with him. And I think he's underlined his recognition of the fact that Labour and a possible Labour government would want to take the India relationship a lot more seriously and to build it up in truly strategic terms. He defined the effort for an FTA also in strategic terms. He looked at the possible partnership in a clear strategic construct. So I'd say that's a clear message that we've got. But I should also point out, I mean, obviously our goal is to ensure that our relations with a country as important as the UK are basically bipartisan. We look for the best possible relations with the country, irrespective of who's running it. And indeed, in our case, our approach to many of our major partners is bipartisan. So I think it's important that we nurture that line.
I was actually about to refer to the bipartisan point because that's clearly one of the things that is working so well with the United States, that whether it's a Republican or the Democrats or whoever the president is, they seem to be believing in close ties with India. Here there was that slight concern that does Labour feel that way or does Labour not feel that way? So to that extent you must be quite delighted with hearing the sort of comments that are now coming.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was an excellent speech from the point of view of the relationship, not just the point of view of India, that the leader of the opposition was making such a clear statement of his interest in a relationship that recognizes the importance of our partnership for each other, for our respective mutual benefit. But of course, there is an older history, if you will. Labour has had a long and very good relationship with India, even in the past. So, in a sense, it's recapturing that space.
It was more in the recent times, I think, that some statements were made about Kashmir and about other things, which are partly also maybe for domestic politics, which obviously is there. He again seemed to talk a lot about recognizing the success of the Indian diaspora, and he almost seemed to be saying that just because they are successful, it doesn't mean it should be held against them in some manner.
Yes, I think, but that's also, I mean, there is a point in that's domestic politics, so I won't comment on that. But the larger point about how Labour wants to position itself as a party that also supports aspiration, enterprise and success. I think that was the point he was trying to make. I'd also point to one point that he made which I think was of significance, which is that he talked about it as a forward-looking relationship, a relationship between India and the UK that is based on our future prospects and what we bring to each other. And I think that is really important.
In fact, let me just get you to elaborate on that a little bit, because sometimes when you're talking about India-UK relationship, you're either saying, oh, you know, remember the empire, or remember the British Raj, or remember the Kohinoor, or remember food and cricket. And that's what it often seems to be about. But there's a lot more that presumably can be done, and I think that's what Labour's very clearly saying here.
Yes, well, absolutely. This is the point that I was also making, that look at the number of Indian businesses that are here. Look at the opportunities that India presents the UK in tech, in innovation, in obviously investment. The climate change piece. I mean, frankly, if the UK wants to be a leader in green financing and green transitions, there is no better place to make that happen than in India. So I think there is recognition that a relationship between India and the UK, we can and of course should compete on the cricket pitch. We can and of course should compete about which has the better Indian restaurants, India or the UK.
Surely that's not a subject to any debate, is there?
Our British friends like to compete about that, saying they've got some of the best Indian restaurants in the world, and I say yes, outside India. So, which is of course I think a fair point, and it certainly can compete for that point. But the larger point I think is that, you know, we should be informed by our history, but we needn't be conditioned by it.